Jerry Seinfeld says the left has ruined comedy, and I couldn't agree more. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Jerry Seinfeld saying that the left has ruined comedy in a variety of ways. It's not just about not being able to tell a certain joke, not being able to say certain words anymore in 2024. It's about certain shows that existed in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and before no longer being able to be made today because of what the left has done. And what he said in the interview from The New Yorker, which I will place in the box, what he said was nothing but the truth. But first thing, before we get to the video, first things first, let's back up a little bit and talk about Jerry Seinfeld. One of the best TV comedians ever. And what I mean by that is a comedian who can go out there, do sets and everything with a TV show. Seinfeld, one of the best shows of its type ever. And I really enjoy Seinfeld's comedy style, that kind of dry, matter of fact, not trying to be over the top, not slapstick. I really enjoy that kind of humor. And you see that same humor in things that he's done aside from Seinfeld. Some of his stand-up is like that. And one of my favorite pieces of comedic content was on the show he has called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. The show with him and Chris Rock just in the car talking, which was not a comedy skit. It was not a comedy special, but it was better than a lot of comedy specials because it was so good. Their chemistry and these guys being naturally funny. You got to look it up. Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Fantastic. An amazing comedian. And he's saying, hey, the left has killed comedy. The things that I did back in the day, the things that my contemporaries did back in the day is no longer permissible in today's environment. Now, before I go any further, let's get to the actual video or the audio, pardon me, from the interview. Of course, I will link to this in the description, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
It used to be you would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to see stand-up comics because we are not policed by anyone.
Let's pause right here. Now, what he's saying so far is right on point. Right on point. Stand-up comedy is seeing a renaissance because they're not constrained by the powers that be, by the who's who. You can't say this. You can't do that. That's too offensive. Well, look, I'm going to have a comedy show, and those who are not offended, those who enjoy my content, are free to come out and watch me. Dave Chappelle has been kind of on the precipice of this because of the whole LGBT thing and the trans thing, and they want to come boycott him. No matter how much they boycott him, no matter how much they boycott, no matter how much they try to hate Dave Chappelle or make us turn against him, it's simply not working. The shows are packed. Everybody loves Dave Chappelle. And a lot of other guys are really edgy, doing things that you couldn't do on TV, you couldn't do in a network environment. You turn on Netflix, you turn on Amazon, etc. Nothing like what he's talking about, some of these old shows. And by the way, if you've not seen some of these old shows, Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, if you've not seen these shows, you got to go check it out. I'm not sure where you can, but please do it because these are really classics you need to have in your brain. But I digress.
The audience polices us. We know when we're off track. Mm-hmm. We know instantly, and we adjust to it instantly. But when you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy.
Have you had that experience?
That's a really good question. I want to see what his answer is.
No.
Because isn't that what Curb is all about?
Yeah. Larry was grandfathered in. He's old enough that I don't have to observe those rules because I started before you made those rules.
Yeah, I think Curb Your Enthusiasm is the last of the Mohicans. And I'm not sure what's happened to it recently because Curb came out like right at the end of comedy being able to be comedy on television. And also Curb was on HBO, so it was not on regular network television. It wasn't on cable like regular, CBS, it wasn't on that. So it was expected to be a little bit edgy, a little bit more adult. I've not seen the newer version of Curb it just came out with. I hope that it wasn't watered down because of all the rigmarole with network politics. Hopefully that wasn't the case. But when it came out, it really just kind of pushed a lot of boundaries because, like you said, Larry David, writer on Seinfeld, what are you going to do? And of course, Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld, you already know what team they're with. So they got a little bit more leeway in Hollywood. It is what it is. I'm not being racist. I'm just calling out the obvious. So he's able to do certain things as an elder in that community. But try being the regular Joe Blow, 25 years old, submitting the script to NBC, talking about, I'm going to joke about autism. I'm going to joke about LGBT. Forget about it. LGBT. Nope, not going to happen. People that's disabled, people that's fat, black joke, white joke, Jewish joke, Asian joke, ain't going to happen. So this is what the left has done. They've made it to where everything is offensive. Everything is a third rail. You can't say anything about anything. They're really just stifling your free speech. It's to the point where only the things that they think are funny get the green light. And what it winds up being are things that are not funny. And what they really push are just things that are not comedy at all. I've said it before on my live streams. I try to watch some stuff. It's to the point now where I don't watch any TV. I don't watch TV at all. I don't even really watch news like that because it's gotten so ridiculous with what you can and cannot say. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you an example of how news has fallen to this woke stuff and comedy. News. Okay, I'm watching Fox News. This is a conservative network, right? I'm watching them to get a conservative viewpoint on what's happening. Not so much with the woke left stuff. Then who do I see on my Fox News TV screen? Caitlyn Jenner. And you got John Roberts talking about she. You see what I'm saying? That is an example of how the left has infiltrated, where we got to call this decathlete from the 1970s who was a male back then a female. It's like, what are we talking about exactly? Is it wrong for me to call out the obvious, that that's not a female, that it's a male, that it's a biological XY? That's one thing, as it relates to news. Then you get to comedy. Where's any kind of comedic TV show? Have you seen one lately? Do sitcoms, do funny sitcoms even exist? I don't think so. Not on television, not anywhere really. And then once you go to Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, etc., it's all drama, sad stuff, nothing funny because you can't make a joke or somebody get offended. I was watching one show. It was not a comedy, unfortunately, because comedies don't really exist anymore. But the show I was watching was called Sandman. It's about angels and demons and high fantasy. And I don't really watch TV at all. But I just happened to be on Netflix. I gave it a chance. I'm watching it. It's like, okay, I'm feeling the angels and demons, the high fantasy. Okay, it's cool. And then one random episode, for no reason, literally no reason, I think the protagonist decided to put on the drag outfit and have a whole drag queen performance. Angels and demons in between dimensions, but somehow there's a drag queen, there's a gay bar, and he breaks out into a drag queen performance. That is what you see all the time now on television, movies, any kind of entertainment is LGBT. No more comedy, because if you happen to joke about one of these guys as I close, if you joke about these guys who are literally dressed as clowns half the time, you're offensive, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, you're all the other obes in this. No longer can you have just a regular comedy routine. This is part of the reason why, as I close, news, cable news is dying, and guys like me are rising. The alternative media, we're rising. We're not bound by their restraints. I don't have some guy on top of my head talking about, hey, can't say that, you can't say. I don't have that. And this is the reason why a lot of your stand-up guys are starting to become very popular on social media, out in the street, is because they're not constrained by the who's and the powers that be. They can just say what they want, and if the audience likes it, cool. If they don't, that's cool too. It's called freedom, and we're taking that back here in the USA. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think the left has killed comedy in this country? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. They most certainly did. That the days of your sitcoms at 8 o'clock and it's funny and joking about certain things with the whole family watching, those days are over, in my opinion. Those days are long gone. Now you're going to get LGBTQ, LMNOP, X, Y, Z all in the mix with 1,000 different streaming services that cost an arm and a leg and your firstborn child and all the tea in China each. Rather than dealing with that, let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to the roots. Let's go back to the stand-up comedy. Let's go back to your independent journalists, one-man gang type situation. Let's go back to that to get some real, honest, and good information and content. Simple as that. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.